Hey everyone, I'm here at ECETI and I met a really amazing guy. From the minute I came in, this guy reached out to me. He had this beautiful energy and this really great attitude, and of course first I complimented him on his beautiful goatee and the nice white hair, and I was like, man, that looks really cool. And then since then he's been kind of like an angel at my side, not only helping out volunteering here, but always just there at the right time to share wisdom, share truth. And this guy is really like a new earth being. He's a guy that's already in the future, looking at how the world can change, how we can live in a really beautiful way. And he's, we're all going through our own journeys, but I wanted to ask him some questions and just share his light with the world. So what's going on, Anil?
Not a whole lot. How you guys doing? It's been a very busy, pleasant weekend full of lots of energy, lots of healing, lots of higher consciousness. It's really hard to find a place where everybody can come together and actually speak their truth and really be as strange as possible and be normal.
Yeah. So what's been your journey? How did all of it start? To come to a place like this that's different energetically than the rest of the world. How did all this open up?
It's kind of funny because I started to realize a couple of years ago, several years ago, that on a subconscious level there were these things that I wanted as far as the environment, the people to be around, the energy, the frequency, and it was just in the back of my mind, always wanting that. And the more I watched the news and watched the interactions in society where there was this friction and people were just dazed and confused. I mean, sometimes I feel like I'm a little lost too, but I had positive intentions, and trying to find truth. But I started, finding these connections and connecting with people and starting to learn that, just like a radio station, right? We tune into a specific channel,
right?
And then we run into those people in the crowd that happen to be tuned into that channel. And so that just started to happen more and more and more. And many years ago, I ran into a friend that knew these guys, Jay and James.
Oh, okay.
And then I came out here, and then I met these guys, and and fell in love with the place.
Yeah.
I learned about it, and then I fell in love with the place, and then I've always been pretty desensitized to all these energies, but I saw everybody else really having these magnificent experiences, and oh my God, the vortex, and they're feeling it, and I'm just like, damn, I'm not feeling it. Not that I'm not feeling it, but that I'm desensitized, and I believe that it's probably being surrounded by the electronics and the Wi-Fi's and all this stuff, and so just over time, I realized that, that was my tribe.
Wow.
The people that were coming here, was my tribe.
Yeah.
So once I left, it wasn't even necessarily that, I'm leaving ECETI. Because
you weren't here full time. You were coming in.
No, I was coming in and out.
And then you were leaving.
As a friend, as a visitor.
Now, let me ask you a question, because I'm thinking there's a lot of people that watch this video and they think they're broken, there's something wrong with them, they're not productive, they're not smart, they don't have genius, they're not, but
I can feel that.
Your thing is you realize though that in the right environment, the right frequency,
it's a platform for expression.
It's you shift, you realize you're made different maybe for a reason, right? Exactly. And it happens to bring you into that environment because you're made different for a reason, right?
Right. We all are.
Yeah.
And we learn that we come here and we choose our traumas and we choose our experiences, and then for so long I thought to myself, why would I choose that? Why would I choose all this pain? Why would I choose to suffer? But I had this really interesting conversation with a guy who was raised on very fundamental religious views, and so we got into this conversation about reincarnation because it was something that he had been curious about, and he's like, I don't believe it. He's like, what's your take on it? And knowing that he was very anti anything related to the so-called New Age, which is actually the oldest of all ages. But
you gotta throw that one in. It's actually
the beginning of what we've learned here, at least in this plane.
Exactly.
But I told him, I said, look, okay. He said, well, what do you say about the murderers and the people that hurt children?
Right.
And I said, well, okay, look at it this way. What if you've got this terrible person that murders children, and he's a rapist, and he's just is the most horrible you can imagine, and people are like, we need to string him up and kill him off, and I said, well, okay, think of that as being the worst type of person, and then he passes away. and now he incarnates into a life where his mother's an alcoholic, his father's a drug addict, he's being beaten left and right. Not that I support it,
we don't
but
condone
it's almost like in this life, his prior life, he was pushing forward the
Right.
karma that he would walk into.
That's right.
And
So-
he would walk into this experience. And so now he's walking through this life of experience of pain and suffering, and then he dies this lonely,
Yep.
death, and
Yep.
then he reincarnates, whether by choice or by however it works. I believe by choice, or a contract, or
Right.
But then he comes back, and now he's a counselor. Now he works,
Yeah,
with
he had that
organizations
wisdom.
helping to be a
Yeah.
therapist for people that have trauma and suffering. So here's a cycle where if everything is infinite and nothing is permanent, and we're constantly recycling into this evolutionary spiritual
Yeah.
growth, what happens is we're taking the fundamentals of the way that everything in life can be from every perspective. Every type of life, type of emotion,
Yep.
type of suffering, type of happiness. And then when we're done experiencing everything that can possibly be experienced, then that's what the Hindus call moksha, is when you
Right.
become one
Okay.
with the original creator.
Right, it's source expressing,
It's source
itself,
expressing itself.
and then it goes up higher and higher to source.
Right.
Yeah.
So finally starting to come to those terms for myself.
Very cool.
That's what at least helped me. It helped alleviate my own pain.
Okay.
Looking at my own life, saying to myself, well, I don't have this long-term career. I haven't gone to school and got multiple degrees. I don't have a full-time family. Like,
So these are all the thoughts that come into
these
your
were
head.
the thoughts, right?
Yeah.
And that was creating pain for me, because it made me feel like, well, am I not living, this life that I'm supposed to live? Am I not coming here and being responsible and, having a
Right.
career? And so when you get around people that have all that, it kind of makes you feel like, well, did I miss the boat? Did I miss the
Right.
mark?
So then, what did you do? What is the approach? Like, if someone feels that way, because there's all that self-judgment, and one of the things we learned, I just want to share, and you know this too, that one of the things that the lower energies will do, the control grid matrix, reptilian, whatever we want to call it,
Right.
they'll put these, Peter Maxwell Slattery said this, they'll put
Right,
these
right.
feedback loops
Right.
in your
And
brain.
they're not even your thoughts.
That make you think and go back to the past and think about all these situations. So what would you recommend? Because now I know there may be people like, man, I identify with this guy. What would you say to help move people out of that?
Well, I'm still moving out of it myself.
And that's,
But
first of all, that's amazing, because he's being honest and he's being real, that he can make a difference, and you can come on, sit down. We got another beautiful person here.
What kind of stories are you telling?
Oh, it's good stuff.
No.
So he was just honest and said, I'm still in it. But from that place of authenticity and being what you are, now you've elevated power, because you're not fighting something and saying, oh, it's not me.
Right.
I'm not
in
now
denial
your
or-
answer will come as to what could they do.
Well, that's just like they say, if you're, and I've always been a transparent person. I don't try to hide. I'm human, so I don't try to hide.
All right, we're all three in the frame now.
I'm not trying to hide it. I'm transparent, because in order for me to heal and find remedies for me to move into that healing, I need to express. I'm trying not to own the issue, saying I have this problem, but seeing where the issues of personal development are hinging up.
Yep.
And without taking ownership and becoming the problem,
Right.
it's a symptom. It's a symptom of a block of energy, or something that needs to move through.
Yeah.
And I know that by going through these experiences, I'm going through the learning lesson of overcoming them.
Yeah.
And that's allowing, because I believe that every problem comes wrapped in a package of problems.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Every
Every
gift
gift. Well,
gift comes in wrapped in a package of problems.
That is very
challenges,
true.
and it's equivalent.
But
to
you
the
know
size
what?
of-
You know what's interesting is you said that, because many people see every problem as more problems.
Right,
But
right,
if you
right.
find the gift, you
Yeah.
realize that problem is the gift. Like for me, I went through a marriage that didn't work out, and I got a divorce, and I thought it was the worst thing in the world. I was screaming, crying, trying to figure out everything. I went to go see a friend of mine, and I was an attorney at the time. I didn't like my life. I was miserable, and I went to go see a friend of mine, and his wife wrote out for me this huge, it was almost like a book of how to win her back, right?
Yeah.
And I was ready to go back to my town and make it work. And then she said one thing that took that problem wrapped in a whole bunch of other problems, and she found the gift. And she said, are you sure you want to go back? And I was like, wait a minute, just stop right there. let me try that on. And it was like, you know when you open up something with your mouse, like a window, and the whole new computer screen opens up, and you're like, oh my God. And I saw a whole new life.
Yeah.
It was like the gift was right there. So you're right on,
It's like
man.
removing the splinter that was
right
in your
on.
vision.
Yeah, you're right on.
Yeah.
And when we stop trying to hold all the world together and like fight to like make it all work, and we just go, okay, where's the gift? What is it I'm here to do? And like, where do I just go and be in the flow? So
and I've noticed that going back into my past, when I would have all these challenges and problems, and I would have all this anguish and suffering and depression over it, judging myself for it. Once I finally realized that it was something that I could resolve, then the resolution became clear.
Yeah.
Because I owned the fact that I could resolve it at some point.
Yeah.
Then I gave myself permission to have the answer.
Yeah.
And then it showed up. Then I started to realize that whenever I got into this expectation that as long as I know the answer is coming and that I'm asking the right question, it always shows up. And that's when my path of awakening started to speed up. Because with every answer, my expectation became much more clear.
That's key. So when you ask for the answers, like, then what do? Where do you look? What are the signs? Like, what are the ways?
Stop looking.
Okay, stop looking. But then what are the ways it shows up? I like it. Hey, man, I'm cool.
It's like the book that falls on the floor.
Okay.
You know, the things that they talk about
when you get
in
on the flow, like when you go with the flow, or when you go with the force, maybe the force be with you. Once you get in the flow, then the answers come, and the people come, and the situations come.
Yeah. Then you're in that state of allowing. Yep. You know, especially when you're allowing everything to flow through. And
we're doing a video. Get in on this, Chris.
Talking about healing.
Are you gonna come in the back?
Yeah.
Come on in, dude.
buddy. I met this guy last night.
Yeah.
We hung out and watched the sunrise.
Yeah, a strange experience.
Yeah, all night apparently.
You did and I did.
Trying to get all you guys in here.
That was so weird.
So here's the thing, man. Here's the big lesson, right? So Anil was telling me your gift and your mission, which was you wanted to share your truth, you wanted to share your work, and just by you sharing that with me, I shared and said, hey, let's do it right now. Let's not wait. And then now we have this beautiful being of light and this beautiful being of light here sharing their truth. So when you share your gift, more people get to share their light, and shit opens up that you can't even imagine. So don't ever wait to share your gift. You don't need anything. You don't need I got a phone. This is not even the newest Apple phone. That's all I'm doing, right?
Right. I think a lot of us too.
These phones are so clear now too that like you don't even want to see. You know, I'm like I'm 47, so I'm like, dude, I don't even want to see my face at the super clear resolution. I'm like, this is just fine. I don't want I cut myself out, so it's good. You don't want the super computer.
Well, you got a damn good skin for 47.
Thanks, man.
I'm just catching up. You're only a couple years ahead of me. I'm like right behind you. So.
Hey, it's ECETI, right?
It is ECETI.
So Chris, what's up with you, man? Tell us about you, brother.
Oh shoot, man! I had an amazing experience.
This guy's a trip. He lives in my city. He lives in Austin.
Yeah,
but go ahead.
Austin,
Yeah, what's up?
I had an amazing experience last night with Anil, like sitting out there underneath him, like looking at the mountain. He dozed off for a second.
Yeah, it was like
minutes.
We were watching sunrise.
Yeah, and I was looking at the mountain, just like seeing how beautiful it was.
Yeah.
And it turned purplish pink.
Mm-hmm. Wow. He was describing every detail.
Then these little, you know what a glyph is? Do you know what a glyph is? It's like a little character from an alphabet.
Yeah.
It was the alphabet characters of a regular alphabet, A, B, C, D, upper and lowercase, and these runes. You know what runes are?
Mm-hmm.
These
Runes.
Celtic runes. R-U-N-E-S.
No, I don't know what that is, and
It's
probably
like
people don't know either.
They're like the little stones
It's a
that have the
divination
symbols
stone.
on them.
Oh,
like
my
really-
wife watches Outlander, so she loves the
Right.
runes and all that. Where they touch the stones.
Yeah, it's like these little stones with their characters on them. They're really simple. They're very simple.
There's a book that goes with it, and it tells
They're
you
almost
what
like
each symbol means.
they're almost like tarot cards on
Yeah.
Pull
stones.
'em.
Wow.
Yeah, it's
You pull
almost
'em
like a
and
tarot card on a stone. It
line
gives you a
'em up and
message.
you read
I
'em.
don't know anything about
So
it.
in the mountain,
Divination.
it got filled up with these little characters, sort of like how the Matrix works, but it was like blinking them all in and out.
Dude.
He's describing this to
And-
me the whole time, and I'm laying there like
And
wrapped
then-
in my blanket.
And then it starts to erupt like a volcano, and all these symbols were like vortexing out, and I was like, what the hell is going on? And they started to like come up and create this like massive vortex, and it went up into the air and then came all falling down everywhere around here for like 2 or 3 miles around here, all these little letters and characters. I'm like, what is going on?
That is
So
And I
You went
look
right back into
away.
the Matrix.
well, that was what I was thinking. Like
Yes.
you could see the Matrix,
It was-
like
Yeah,
all
yeah,
the
yeah.
program or whatever it was, like the glitch between dimensions, because it's a
So you have
dimensional
to-
portal.
Right.
You have to
It's-
stay up late to see that stuff.
It was at
Yeah,
4:30
yeah,
in the
yeah.
morning.
Once everybody goes to
Wow.
bed and everybody else is kind of straggling around, those
on, you saw
last few hours of the
letters?
night is when
Oh, is
all
that what
these
it is?
But
crazy.
see, that's what Ben said from
Codes
the
and
Edge of Wonder
letters.
show.
I was out there with them.
Oh,
but on
you
the
were.
other s- I was the
From,
one. Remember he was
like a
explaining
volcano.
people fighting with
Yeah,
the
yeah,
sword?
yeah.
That
Oh,
was
that
us.
was.
showering
Oh,
down.
wow.
We had the
that's a
lightsaber
trip.
out
What
there.
is
That's
that?
And he
a
had the
trip.
laser
That's a trip.
shooting the trees, and for
And
20 minutes
they
we
were
thought that
telling
there
me
was something
that
in the trees, and it
everyone's
was
getting
Ben
downloaded.
messing with us with the laser on the other side of the
Oh,
field.
Lord.
Spiritual.
Those
This is
guys.
at 4 o'clock in the morning.
Damn them.
What is
All right,
that?
we got a new guy. What's up?
What's up?
Who do
Wow.
we have?
Lewis,
And
this
then
is
we'll get
Lewis
to you
now.
real fast because
This
we're
is
getting
Lewis
all this
here.
on video for the channel. Who do we have? Lewis?
I am Lewis, and
Hey,
guess
Lewis.
what? Chris was just telling a story that I had a dream very similar about.
Oh, wow.
What?
So yeah, it was basically it was like a Hogwarts style dorm I was in with friends, people. We were all like
Wow.
hanging out, just doing nothing really. Then all of a sudden, all of our phones just started lighting up, and all of us were getting text messages and calls saying, "Go outside, go outside." We go outside. It's nighttime, and we look up in the sky, and there's like flying ships, but they're all letters, and they're coming
Wow.
together, and they merge together, and they're creating words and phrases.
I didn't see any
Dang.
words or phrases, but they were all flying
And-
around.
And so
So that was
What?
your dream, right?
I had a dream, and the people that were standing next to me is like, yeah,
Wow.
it was a perfect example of how we'll see
Wow.
the same thing standing right next to each other from
Right.
the same perspective and get two different takes from it. So
Wow.
I thought it was a super positive message. Like,
Wow.
like we're here to help. And
Yeah.
the person next to me, they were scared.
See
They
all
got
you're
angry.
doing, man? You open up
Really?
all these people to share their.
I would-
And how many people could
That's-
watch this?
yeah,
This is
yeah.
awesome.
How many people will see this?
Oh, well, I don't know, a couple thousand eventually.
That's
Okay,
awesome.
Okay, so
tell
my
me
name's
about you and
Abra
your
from
truth. Wait,
Seattle.
what's your name? Say it slow.
Abra from
Abra,
Seattle.
okay.
So today I went out to the field and did some meditation,
Okay.
and I closed my eyes and I kept seeing the line beings. So I thought that was pretty cool because
Very
that's the first
cool.
time I've seen.
So
any
tell
of the
people about the
big-
lion beings, because I did not know about the lion beings till
Oh, boy.
coming here.
Until James was talking
And James talked
Yeah.
about it.
You're on it.
Oh, God.
You're on it, and I actually felt them too at different
definitely
points
felt
today.
them.
So tell people about the
Well,
lion
they're-
beings.
Okay, I think their names are Cha, Bakal, and Kaha.
Oh, okay, you got names. Wow.
Well, because I
Look
took
at
the,
her.
I took the mastery course and the ambassador training, so I'm pretty sure I got that right, but I'm not
And those
positive.
are
Wow.
the names of the
But
beings
so
that he
there's
talks
the
about.
lion beings, and then there's the cats, the cat beings. So I think I was seeing some cats too. But I just thought it was interesting because I've come here and I feel the energy,
Yeah.
and I've gotten healing and whatnot, but I haven't seen anything. I've seen spaceships for sure. when
Wow.
they're flying around, but
Wow.
and the lights on the mountain.
You see orbs too,
I've seen orbs,
Yeah.
but that's the first time I kind of got.
but no unicorns
something.
and fairies.
No
yet.
unicorns and
Okay.
fairies.
Amazing.
Sadly.
Wow.
So
Just
anyways,
a
it was
matter
really
of
cool.
time.
Yeah, I did.
Nice.
I
It
did
was
see
pretty
the
clear,
fairies.
too,
Amazing.
yeah.
I would
So-
like an explanation about what that was. Like, guys, it's super weird. And
I don't know, man.
unexpected. Like,
You need
I've
to
never
ask Corey
heard-
Good is who you need to ask.
Maybe somebody, if anybody out there knows, like, I would put a comment
I wonder
below
what-
or
Oh
something.
yeah,
Yeah,
put a
yeah,
comment
yeah.
below
Comment
if you
below.
know what
I
Chris
would
saw.
like to understand what
Yeah,
that
we got to all
was
do the
because
comment below. That's really
I am
important for your
confused.
videos. And hit like and
I wonder what
subscribe
the
if you
name was.
enjoy
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah, for sure.
guys, I think before we run out of battery, let's just send everybody a huge bit of love. And if you have a good intention for the world, we'll just send it out. And, you know, everybody's collective heart together. I mean, this is really like the 5D New Earth right here
It
at
is.
ECETI. And so it's anywhere, though, that you are where you're connected to another human being and in love, to be honest, I feel like, too. So
That's right, Jerry.
we're just sending
Right.
love to all you guys. And thanks for being here. And whatever you're going through, it's not the end. It's just the beginning. You're amazing beings of light. And we all love you here from ECETI. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.